Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to episode 9, Red 5 Cantina Live, the streamcast, the podcast, whatever you want to call it. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about things that have been going on with the channel, with the brand. May the 4th. I know we're a little late on that. Darth Maul, yes, we're a little late on that. We'll do a full review there, sort of talk about some things, some questions that came up for me there. Keep the conversation going because season 2 is coming, so we're going to want to have some things answered and maybe some things we hopefully see. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Mando movie coming up. We're going to take a look at a new trailer that dropped for the latest game coming out in October, the pod racing game set to release. A lot of questions there too. A lot of why comes up for me. But let's roll the music and get into this. Hope you all are doing all right. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Red 5 Cantina. Woo! Yeah, we talk Star Wars and theme parks and movies and lore, tops, cards and artwork, memorabilia galore, sci-fi and MCU. Step inside the Cantina, the Red 5 Cantina. Welcome in.
That's it, believe it or not. Short and sweet. That's what she said, right? I know. I know. So, let's get to this. I was wrong about Maul. We'll get into it in just a few minutes. But before we do that, let's talk about some things with the channel here. You know, we're on YouTube. We're now on Kick. We're on Spotify. All these episodes go to Spotify, so you can check them out later. You can listen to them as audio. You can watch the video. We're on Discord. Discord is connected to our Patreon, so we have some cool bonus features there for subscribers, but we also have a free tier, so don't worry about it. Free tier, we give you like weekly updates, let you know what's going on, where we're at. But the hub for everything is pretty much sticking to Discord. So if you join the Discord, everything will be there. In the description of this video, I will leave a link tree that has all of this there. Instagram, we usually do things for whatnot sales, the cards, the collecting, different things like that, different projects I have going on. And then, as you know, whatnot rolling ever so hard and fast. Whatnot is typically on Wednesdays. So go over to Whatnot, search Red 5 Cantina Wednesdays around 4:20, wink, wink, and do a lot of collectibles, memorabilia, cards. I usually talk through that about some of the things I've been looking into, some story lore, different stuff. You know, we make it fun. And a lot of stuff going on. So let's see. Oh, and a second channel for sort of steam relief. Here's what we're doing. A couple times a month, we'll do episodes. 1 or 2 of those will be live. 1 or 2 will be recorded. If you're on the gold tier Patreon, you can see all of those every time before anybody else and be in on it and get to interact and, expand the community a little bit. But we started Red 5 Gaming. Now, Red 5 Gaming is a little different. I'm only doing this every once in a while to blow off steam, but I will try to keep it in a series format. So if you go over to Kick and you follow Red 5 Cantina, I'll do the live streams there, and then I take those live streams and I upload them to the YouTube channel, Red 5 Cantina Gaming. So it's not quite as serious as this main channel, but it's a cool hangout. It's a cool place to see some games. I will be doing some game reviews. We're getting ready to talk about this trailer for the pod racing game. If I can get into that game, we'll have it on there. GTA 6 is coming out this year, so who knows what's going to happen to a Star Wars channel. But speaking of Star Wars, May the 4th, I had a weird break here. We've had about an 8-week break, 9, maybe 10-week break. Things have just been kind of loony. We're back on somewhat of a track. So to sort of break the ice, break the stress, and get going, with the year 5 months in, we said heck with it. We grabbed some tickets, we grabbed a room, and we went to California, and we went to May the 4th. And I have to tell you, last year in 2025, I went to May the 4th in Florida at Disney World. This year in 2026, we went to May the 4th in Disneyland in Anaheim, California. I have to say, while I would tell anyone saving up for a first time trip to Disney to always go to Florida first for the bang for your buck, I cannot stress hard enough the fact that they do May the 4th better in California. Why that is, I don't know. Is it sort of the testing grounds for things? I don't know. But they had the OT characters walking around. When I got there the first day, we were earlier than expected, and we went ahead and got a ticket and got in the park. Went in, took a look, because I had never been to Galaxy's Edge West. The last time I was there, it wasn't built yet. I've been to the one in Florida probably 20, 30 times across several trips. They're to the inch the same place. However, activity is a little bit different. So we go check it out. We ride Rise of the Resistance, do some other stuff. You know, Rise of the Resistance, if you haven't ridden it, it's the granddaddy of all rides, especially for a Star Wars nut like myself. The next day we did California Adventure. Cars Land is over there, different stuff like that. Toy Story Land. I'm sorry, Cars Land, not Toy Story Land. Cars Land. The next day, May the 4th, we went back to Disneyland, and we went back to Galaxy's Edge and saw everybody. I got to meet Ahsoka, you know, different stuff like that. But as soon as I walked in, something different hit me. Something that changed my heart from sort of this acid bath, toxic dump that it's become over Star Wars. Something warmed it to the point where I found myself tearing up and wondering why couldn't they have done this in 2019 when they opened this land. And it was simple, a simple change. It was John Williams music. As soon as I walked in, it hit. It was like they were waiting for me. The crescendo crashed and hit, and next thing I know, I'm practically in tears. It's the theme to Star Wars, right? You know, opening credit music all the way to the twinkling stars at the end. The whole day was so much more magical just hearing that music, because it was the soundtrack that you're so ingrained into your brain and you're so used to hearing, and you're walking through Star Wars world and you're hearing Star it's like your own theme music to your own movie. It was amazing. It made it so much more enjoyable. And then to see the stormtroopers walking around on one side of the area with the old school helmets, Mando, Boba, Han, Luke, Leia, Chewie, everybody there under the Falcon. I mean, it was Goosebump City, lump in the throat. Such good feels. Why couldn't they make this experience for me every time I've been there? Because that was the first time I felt that since the first time I walked in. And the first time I walked in, I remember going, well, there's Kylo Ren's ship. Where's everybody else? You know? So, wow, they made me kind of reset. It was so much better. And in the evening, they did this show. It was sort of a light show. And I recorded the whole thing. I might put it on my channel. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for copyright like in the past. But just the way that they expressed Star Wars just seemed much more cared about. You know, that's the one thing that I think people harp on, is they feel like Disney doesn't care. And this was one time where I felt like they cared. They took the time to put in those little nuanced things, those little tiny things that longtime fans would appreciate, and just made it so much more enjoyable. I want to go back, you know, over and over now. Doesn't change a lot for the movies and other things that they've done, but May the 4th in Disneyland has my vote as being better than in Florida, unless they change the music and bring the OT characters out there too, which I haven't heard that they've done. I would love to see it at both places. You know, one half could be the sequel trilogy guys, the Kylo Rens and different stuff like that, the troopers, and then on the other side could be OT. That's fine. Do it like that. And then right down through the middle thoroughfare, you could have those tweeners like Ahsoka and Mando and different stuff like that, because they kind of bridge the gap between the two timelines, you know. So I would take it for sure. But that was my take on May the 4th. I'm glad I went. The merch. What did I end up getting? Oh, I got a Tauntaun popcorn bucket that makes sounds, and that was it. I didn't want the Jabba the Hutt's barge and all that stuff. It wasn't as big as people thought. That's what she said. And the merch seemed a little lacking, but that's okay. I didn't really want the day to be so much about the merch as I wanted it to just be about, you know, the expression of the fandom and feeling good about Star Wars for a day, you know. So the merch wasn't such a big deal. Now in Florida, it was more special with the merch. You had to wait in a special line, get in a special store to get a special item that you could only get on a special time, on a special day. You know, that made it very feel very rushed. But you know, that's how it went. And I'm sure there'll be something in the future that I'll get. Disneyland, however, had some stores and things that were laid out ready to go. And even though they were crowded and insane and things were just not out of control but very chaotic with the crowds, you could still get in and see what you needed to see. And if you wanted to get stuff before it sold out, you could get it. So I feel like they did a better job. That's my bottom line. End of story. Final answer. Disneyland does May the 4th better. If you get a chance, go out there and check it out. Traveling to Anaheim, California, here's my suggestion. This was given to me by someone that lives there. Fly into the John Wayne Airport. What is it? The Orange County, Santa Ana, something or other airport. Fly into John Wayne, and then you can fly home out of the Orange County. It's about 30 minutes away, maybe, if that. Maybe, I think it's like 18 miles. The Santa Ana Airport, John Wayne Airport, is like 15 minutes, if that. Maybe 8 miles, 6 miles, something like that. You can stay right across the street. You know, we had a room, Howard Johnson, on a corner. There was nothing behind it. So it was nice and quiet. Even with a water park for kids, it was quiet. You could look out the door when you walked out of your room and see the monorail. It was right there across the street. We just took a nice walk down, maybe 3 blocks, if that, passing Panera Breads and McDonald's and different places to get coffee, and boom, right into the park. Really nice experience. Didn't have to travel anywhere else. Didn't have to worry about getting a ride to park and all this. You know, park your car, walk, get to another trolley. Take, you know, when you're in Florida, it's the granddaddy park. It's so big. You know, Disneyland's a different story, and it's cool to see where it all began. There's parts where you'll get lost and feel like you're in Florida if you've been to Florida first, and there's other areas where you go, wow, they should do this. Why don't they do this somewhere else? You know, but again, bottom line, 5 stars for the May the 4th experience in Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Go do it for sure. All right, moving on. Let's talk about a Red 5 review of Darth Maul Shadow Lord. Now, I came out a little strong by my own admission. I said Maul sucked. I didn't understand what the hubbub was about. Those first couple episodes, super slow. And it turned into banger after banger in the second half. They really held it down and saved the good stuff for later. Now, Darth Maul, as you know, is a carryover character from George Lucas and in the prequels. And I think somewhere later on with him and Dave Filoni working together on some animated shows, they were like, you know, nobody ever really dies. Let's bring somebody back, you know. So here we are with Darth Maul. Fandom would be, let's see, the toxic take would be you could have done something else better. You could have taken us down a different path. However, I have been wanting Darth Maul back for years, and we got him back. And I didn't like a couple of things about the series, you know, that may not really matter in the long run. But they brought him back. They did a bang-up job. The fights were amazing. Let's talk about the first 5 episodes. So the first 5 were The Dark Revenge, Sinister Schemes, Whispers in the Unknown, Pride and Vengeance, and Inquisition. So during those first 5, he's being hunted by the Inquisitors, and people are they're picking up this, they're sniffing this hint that, a big bad's going to show up. People are saying it could be Vader. They don't want it to be Vader. They want it to be Vader. We weren't quite sure. We get into the second half of the season. Night of the Hunted, Call to Oblivion, The Creeping Fear, Strange Allies, The Dark Lord. Okay, spoiler alert, we got Vader. So I thought the fights were amazing. Everything was awesome. The voice acting, the animation, beautiful scenery, just super well done. 5 stars out of 5 stars for how well it was done and put together. There were some things that raised the eyebrow. I mean, I'm not shitting on Maul, but he was on his heels the whole time. And you're hitting him in a mechanical leg and he's saying, ouch. It's a mechanical leg. Why are you saying ouch? If anything, it should have just taken damage that created a problem for him to get around better, which we did see that mechanically. But why was he wincing in pain and stuff when people are welding? I mean, are we supposed to believe that the cybernetic limbs have nerve endings that you can feel? I don't get that. I don't get that. So my brain wanted to fixate on that a little too long. But they had him on his heels the whole time. I wanted him to just already be the badass because we've already seen him go through troubles and chasing and fights and getting his ass kicked and all this other stuff. I just wanted to see him be the man instead of putting his deals together. Now, we'll probably see that in season 2, and that's going to be amazing. Season 2 is going to be what I wanted to see right off the jump, I'm sure. It's going to be crazy good. But here's the thing you got to balance out when you're storytelling in this world, in this galaxy, with these characters on the plate, and you are the guy that can push the chess pieces out onto the board. When you bring Vader into a show, Vader's such an iconic character that he sort of overtakes everything. He overshadows the whole thing. And it was so amazing to see him come out of the mist and take people out and force crushing people and running roughshod and just whooping everybody's ass. It was the true peak dark Lord of the Sith at the moment when he would have been his darkest and most powerful in that role. They said that he would have been around 23 to 25 years old right then. This was fresh Vader. This was newly minted Vader. This was Vader with the leash cut and let go to do what he wants and chooses to do, which he did, taking out Jedi Masters and crushing people and just amazing. But that just overtakes the whole story. You can't help it. So saving it for late in the show was the right move. It's just maybe there could have been an opportunity to turn the story a little differently, where maybe Maul takes on the Inquisitors early on, or he takes them on at the end, and we see them finally. Because that would raise some questions too, seeing Marok and Bird Mask dude that we saw in the Jedi Tales and all that. That would have been really cool later on too. But they gave it to us at the beginning, which is fine. It's just he was on the run for this whole series, and I kind of felt like I didn't want to know that there was a season 2 approved already. I wanted to know that these were the shows I had to watch right now. And so when I kind of got the spoiler that season 2 was there, I lost a little bit of that need to watch so much. But that's not even really a complaint. It's just something I just thought of, like an idea, like maybe we could have tried this or that. But it's definitely going to lead to where I'm hoping it leads to. And I really would love to see him eventually jump back onto the big screen, because there's opportunity there to storytell where, like Mando Grogu, it's like the way Jon Favreau put it out was almost like Disney called up and said, hey, would you like to do a movie and about Mando and Grogu and just see what happens? I mean, what? No, that's not what happened. You're so full of shit. Why are you lying? You're straight up lying. Disney didn't call you and say that. Disney did not call you and say that. You had season 4 scripts ready to go. Filoni took over. Filoni and you said, let's put this bad boy on the big screen and let him rip. Don't give me this shit Disney just called up with an idea. Come on, guys. It's what you already had in the pipeline. Anyway, I'll get off of that little soapbox. They got to spin it how they got to spin it. Darth Maul was 10 out of 10 in look, in how it was put together. Story, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. Nothing's perfect. It's as close to perfection as possible, as grandeur will allow. Where it could go, the thought-provoking things, definitely 10 out of 10. It was a great, great show. I have already been rewatching it a few times to pick up even more little Easter eggs and things like that. I just, when I'm watching through 4, 5, 6 episodes and it's Maul, escapes stormtroopers, Maul fights Marok, Maul escapes getting blasted, Maul gets hit in the leg, Maul jumps into a cave. Next episode, Maul avoids getting blasted from stormtroopers, Maul saves somebody's life to try and lure them in. Maul gets hit with a lightsaber. It was rinse and repeat there for a minute. Come on now. But all of that aside, because we have to say, you know what I mean? You can't just look at something from a review standpoint or even from your own fandom. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved it. You still gotta say, if something's bad, you gotta stand up and go, whoa, don't do that. It's like putting you put Mando and Grogu on a cart with some horses, like an old beer commercial for the movie, and then that's not really anything out of the movie, so to speak. So you can't do that little teasy stuff like that. However, looking forward to season 2 on Maul for sure. Looking for that. Let's talk about Mando Grogu real quick. I'm just going to tell you, from so many spoilers and everybody putting it out there, what's happened, I'm bypassing it. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to pay money at the theater to see it. I'm going to watch it on Disney Plus. It's going to be here in a couple of months. No hate. Just it's season 4. That's all it is. It's season 4 Mando. And props to those guys. Regardless of what I said earlier, props to those guys. They're making a jump from a TV show to the big screen, and that's super hard. And people are going to be super critical, and I can't be critical of it. It's, from what everybody says, it's a fun romp. From what I've seen, it's a fun romp. You got characters that we know about with Rhoda and different stuff like that. So it's filling in the gaps for its own timeline nicely. I don't have any complaints about it. That's the thing about the show. There's no complaints because it didn't really do much. It just kind of spun in its own little neighborhood, and that's fine. That's cool. Get some families to go. Get some people sit in the seats, eat some popcorn. It broke even. It made a little bit of money. The theaters made some money, and people are still out there watching Star Wars movies. It's perceived as a failure because the second week, when it took the 69% drop, they want to call that failure. However, if you track movies and you track box office, usually sci-fi and niche horror films take 60 to 75% drops within the first 3 weeks. So it's not really a failure. It's just what people want to hang on to and call a failure. It's not a failure at all. It's not a smashing success. It's probably not where they hoped they'd be within 4 or 5 weeks of release. But I'm telling you, this movie will have legs. It will continue sales with DVDs, with streaming, with toys and different items. I mean, Grogu's a juggernaut, dude. Mando's a juggernaut. You're not gonna stop that onslaught. Christmas time's coming. Stuff from the movie's gonna be out. They're gonna be okay. I know a lot of us hardcore fans, we want to push the envelope a little further. We want to get continuations on things that we love. But really, what is left that could make anybody happy anymore? And people say, give it to another company. And people say they're doing it wrong. And people say they're doing it right. And all this different stuff, even stuff that I'm saying. And at the end of the day, I can't say just because it says Star Wars to love it. But it's also not just because it says Star Wars to hate it. It's like, if it's decent, it's decent. Just say it's decent. You don't have to shit on it just because it wasn't stellar. You know, I have my trepidation about Starfighter next year, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a chance. Maybe it'll take us somewhere new. It's supposed to be in the future in a different timeline, and that's what I've been kind of looking for too, is opportunities to give us new characters and tell new stories. If you do that and you're calling it a continuation, I think that's a trap that you fall into. I don't think this one did that. I don't think that's going to happen with Starfighter. There's talk of trilogies. There's talks of episodes 10, 11, and 12, and Skywalker's coming back and all this different stuff. I don't know what any of that is gonna, what's gonna happen. I don't know if any of that would change anything. It is what it is at this point. We're just gonna ride it out and see what happens. For right now, though, Maul, for me, banger. Mando Grogu is what it is. I'm definitely gonna watch it when it comes to streaming. I can't sit here and shit on it from the number standpoint, because I don't think that's a failure at all. I think people need to go to like Box Office Mojo or Ask AI or Ask Google. What does a 69% drop a week after release signify? And when I did it, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. If I make a movie and I spend $100 million on it and I make 80 million the first weekend and 10 million the second weekend, yeah, I'm going to be a little pissed off, but it's a long game with movies. It's always a long game with movies. It'd be great to see it make the $1 billion mark or whatever up front, but it's not necessarily the marker for success or failure at this point. Getting the movie done with this new regime in Disney management was probably more of the test than seeing this thing go to super duper heights and make billions of dollars. It was probably a stress test on Filoni's leadership with his co-leader, and Favreau in the theaters, with his magic that he's worked with Marvel and different things like that. It was probably just a big test of the new regime. And that's a win. If you ask me, that's a win. No complaints here. I'll let you know a full review when it comes out and I see it. For now, I've read all the spoilers. I've seen as much footage. I've practically seen the movie with footage from people in theaters and different things like that. So I'm okay with that. I had a section on pickups, but now I don't even know what I did with it. I've been doing trading cards for a while, and I've been getting into some trading cards. So I have this. This is from 1994. I'm going to put it up in front of the camera here, if you can see it. It's a 1994 Topps Galaxy Series 2. It's Leia as a Jedi, but not just any Jedi, a dark Jedi. I didn't even know this card existed, and I was doing a rip, and a guy got two of them, said I could have one. She's got R2 there, 3PO there with her. You see kind of the shadow of Luke and Vader. And that's just one of the most badass things I've ever seen. It's ridiculous how badass that is. And then I got this card. It is a Sapphire of Endor Leia. I love the Leia cards. Beautiful cards. So I didn't really have much on the pickups. I'm not really doing a lot of collecting lately. Just kind of staying chill about all of it, Let's move on. We just had a trailer drop for the pod racing game that's coming out this fall. So let me throw this up on screen. There it is. Looks like right now it's a PlayStation exclusive. So let's check it out.
Welcome to Durban Acos, where champions are born and losers annihilated. My sources say you've been making friends amongst our fellow League pilots.
Racers don't go head-to-head against Sebulba. Legends do.
They are not your friends.
I've seen you at Kestar's side.
out of my way.
Oh, this is the dream shape.
There's a reason why they call Kestar Pool the champion. The golden age of the Galactic League begins now.
Alrighty then. My first feel was it would probably have a decent story, probably something we wish would have been a TV show. um, Racing games can get repetitive, but I'm guessing, and I haven't looked at details on this yet, you could play through the campaign mode, and then maybe it would have some cool online stuff where you could go against people. If that's the case, then it could be pretty fun because you could get some, be on a leaderboard, get points, get some notoriety in the game, and buy upgrades, new ships, new racers, all that stuff. So that's different. It's different. People have been talking about this for a while now. We've also got the Zero Company game coming out. So it's going to be a good year for Star Wars content. You've got the animated, you got film in the theaters, you got a couple games. They're keeping it flowing in a couple different areas, which I think is better than trying to just give us show after show after show. Kind of shoot yourself in the foot there when you do that. So I'm looking forward to see where this goes with the games. I'm looking forward to the Jedi Survivor series going into another Cal Kestis chapter as well. I would love to just see him come to the screen, movie or television. But regardless of what my opinion is on this stuff, at the end of the day, we're Star Wars fans. We love Star Wars. We love sci-fi. I know they were talking about some Star Trek shows, some MCU stuff happening, and if some of that comes across the desk and comes across the radar, I'll bring it up. But, for now, it's all about the Star Wars, baby. Yeah. So that about wraps it up for this episode. I want to thank everybody for coming in and checking it out. Again, to see me live every show, go over to Patreon, get yourself a gold tier membership. Then you'll get a special link on Patreon for Discord, where you'll go into a private room and you'll be able to watch all this happen live, even some of the editing. The other part of that is we do watch parties. So right now we're in the middle of Darth Maul Shadow Lord. We've watched the first 2 episodes. We'll be going on to the next 2 this weekend and proceeding thereafter to let you guys decide movies, shows. I'll even watch The Acolyte with you, because sometimes there's just fun fan speculation even in the stuff that's so divisive. So we'll see what happens when we get there down the road. Right now, there's a free tier. You can join the free tier and get updates. I occasionally will drop links there for special Discord parties and happenings. So yeah, Wednesdays again, I'm doing cards over on Whatnot. Come check that out. Thanks for being part of the Red Squadron. So many places you can find me. So this episode will be on YouTube. Anybody over on Patreon will get it early. Then it'll go out to YouTube, Spotify. I'll be doing stuff on Kick. Just turn on your alerts on all of it. And follow the journey. It sounds like I'm a lot busier than I am, but believe me, it's not like that at all. We can let weeks go and take a break before we even notice we've taken a break. And so I've just learned to relax and not have to have this huge need to be on this camera all the time. I have a face for radio as it is. But, I'm trying to make the most of it, and I bumped into this sort of business venture side gig thing, and it's taken off. And so now it's just all part of part of one big thing. So let's enjoy the ride, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. If I can figure these buttons out, and I'll play some music, play us out.
Welcome to the Red 5 Cantina. Woo! Yeah, we talk Star Wars and theme parks and movies and lore, tops, cards and artwork, memorabilia galore. Sci-fi